I stood in the doorway of Emma's bedroom, my hand resting against the frame where we'd marked her height every birthday since she was 3. The room looked strange now, stripped of its personality. No posters on the walls, no clothes draped over the chair, just empty space and the faint smell of her lavender perfume lingering in the air like a ghost. The car was packed. 22 years of life compressed into boxes and suitcases, ready for her new apartment 3 states away. Her first real job, her first real taste of independence. I should have been proud. I was proud. But standing there, I felt something else entirely, a hollow ache that seemed to expand with every breath. My wife, Sarah, touched my shoulder. "She's waiting," she whispered, and I nodded, not trusting my voice. We'd done this twice before. Michael left for college 6 years ago and never really came back, settling in Seattle with his tech job and his fiancée. Jessica married 2 years ago and moved to Boston. But Emma was different. She was our baby, our last, and somehow I'd convinced myself that this day would never actually come. The goodbye was quick, too quick. A hug that didn't last long enough. Promises to call every Sunday. A brave smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Then her car disappeared around the corner, and Sarah and I stood in the driveway like 2 statues, neither of us willing to be the first to go back inside. When we finally did, the silence was deafening. I wandered through the house, noticing things I'd been too busy to see before. The family photos lining the hallway, whenever we all looked so young. The kitchen table where we'd shared thousands of meals, now set for 2. The living room couch, suddenly too big for just us. That evening, I sat in my home office, staring at my computer screen without really seeing it. For 25 years, my identity had been wrapped up in being dad. Coach of the soccer team, helper with homework, fixer of problems, driver to dance recitals and debate tournaments. My calendar had been a mosaic of their activities, my conversations filled with their stories, my worries consumed by their challenges. Now what? I opened the drawer of my desk and found an old notebook, its pages yellowed with age. My handwriting from decades ago stared back at me. Plans I'd made before the kids were born. A novel I'd wanted to write. Languages I'd wanted to learn. Places I'd wanted to travel. Dreams I'd carefully folded up and put away, always thinking there would be time later. Later had arrived. Sarah found me there an hour later, the notebook open in my lap. She sat down in the chair across from me, and for a long moment, we just looked at each other. Really looked, perhaps for the first time in years. "I don't know who I am anymore," I admitted, the words tumbling out before I could stop them. Without them here, without the chaos and the noise and the constant needing, who am I? She reached across and took my hand. Maybe that's exactly what we're supposed to figure out now. That night, I couldn't sleep. I got up at 2 in the morning and walked through the quiet house, ending up in the backyard under a sky full of stars. The air was cool, and somewhere in the distance, I could hear the sound of crickets. I thought about the man I'd been at 25, full of ambition and dreams. I thought about the father I'd become, pouring everything into raising good humans. And I thought about who I might become next, this new version of myself that I hadn't yet met. The fear was still there, that hollow ache of loss. But as I stood there under those stars, I felt something else beginning to bloom alongside it. Not excitement exactly, but a quiet curiosity, a whisper of possibility. For 25 years, I've been defined by my children's needs, their schedules, their dreams. I'd worn the title of dad like a uniform, and I'd worn it proudly. But maybe, just maybe, it was time to remember that I was also just me. A man with his own dreams still waiting to be pursued. A person with interests and passions that had nothing to do with parent-teacher conferences or college applications. As the sun began to rise, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, I made myself a promise. I would grieve this ending. It deserved to be grieved. But I would also embrace this beginning. I would pull out that old notebook and dust off those forgotten dreams. I would discover who I really am when the role of active parent steps back and the role of simply being myself steps forward. Emma called that afternoon to say she'd arrived safely. Her voice was bright with adventure and possibility. And as we talked, I realized something profound. By letting her go, by letting all of them go, I hadn't lost my purpose. I completed it. I'd raised 3 incredible humans who were ready to fly. Now it was my turn.